Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Today we are creating this fun, whimsical look for the Madeline Nelson show, which is taking place on June 13th for Fashion Art Toronto. Huge thank you to everyone at Madeline Nelson, as well as our makeup director, Rachel Jones at Be Pretty MUA. This video is primarily for our models to create their look, because this year we are doing a virtual runway. Anyone at home watching this video, if you want to try out the look, have fun, and just play with some makeup. Also for our models, I am wearing the pink look, but I will insert a picture, 3 other color eye options that you have for creating this makeup look. So we have a pink look, we have a blue look, we have a green look, and then we have an orange look. So pick the one that you love the most. And also, if you don't have these colors at home, don't worry. I will have some great color options for all skin tones listed in the description box below. Without further ado, let's jump right into this look. Eyebrows first, because I'm gonna walk you through how to do soap brows. So I'm gonna take a little bit of Pear soap, which is just a clear glycerin-based soap. And you can use water. I'm gonna use a little bit of a setting spray and a little spoolie brush. Scrub my brush, twist it back and forth. And then once all of your fibers are kind of white, I like to take a tissue, blot it off, and concentrate in the front of my brow and start brushing the hair in the direction you want it to lay. So with this look in particular, since it's quite a fun and whimsical look, I am going to really brush the brows up and out, creating a very kind of feathery, kind of unruly slightly look. And then I just kind of use my finger to press into the skin. So for our eyes, you can either use a foundation, a concealer, or something like what I'm gonna use, which is just a white cream eyeshadow pencil. It is gonna allow the colors that we put on top to kind of jump out and look a little bit more vibrant. So I'm just gonna apply a light layer all over my eye. So when you're applying it to the eye, stay right under your natural socket line. So when you place your finger on your eye, you'll feel the socket. And then just use your finger. You can use a brush or a sponge to gently kind of spread that shadow out. This palette was a great find. So this is a Revolution times Roxasource Color Burst palette. And if you're like me and you don't have some of these fun bright colors in your collection, this little palette had everything. I found it at my local drugstore and it was around $25. And you have all of the colors that you'll need for today's look. Off with the kind of bright pink color, I'm just going to stamp that all over that white base. To get this color more vibrant, I'm gonna repeat this step as many times as I need to get the punch of color that is desired. And for this look, it's quite a fun, punchy color. Once I have my color built up to where I want it, I'm gonna take my brush, wipe off any of the excess product on that brush, and use the point of my brush and just do little circular motions around the edges to buff it out. And if this happens to you where the color kind of pulls out a little too much, you can take a cotton round with a little bit of micellar water, just clean up your edge, and then when you patch up your foundation, you can clean it up. Now that I have the general wash all over my eye, I'm gonna take a little bit more of that product in my brush, and I'm just gonna stamp it in this outer corner. So once we have that color stamped on, wipe your brush off again, and then we are gonna blend it, concentrating it right in the area that we applied it. You can go back, clean up that outer corner again, kind of shimmery pink color, right on the inner corner of the eye, and right over the center of the eyelid. So once you kind of have those colors stamped on, buff the colors together. This inside corner comes in a little too far. Use your micellar water and just clean up a little bit. You can go back in with your foundation brush and any product left on, and just patch up your foundation or concealer wherever you need it. I'm gonna finish off the other eye and we'll be right back to finish off our face. I'm gonna go ahead and take a little bit of a black mascara and apply it to my upper as well as lower lashes. First thing I'm gonna do is make sure you've cleaned up anything under the eyes. Once any eyeshadow that's possibly fallen under your eyes has been removed, move on to complexion. So I'm just gonna use a tiny bit of a foundation, and I'm gonna kind of treat areas where I need coverage and then spread out to where I don't. This isn't a look that's focused on coverage. You want your skin to look as realistic and as natural as possible. So when you're applying your foundation, really, really work it into the skin. Once you have your complexion finished, we are gonna move on to blush, and you want to do this while it is still tacky. So we are looking for a pink that is gonna suit your skin tone. I am gonna use a shade kind of like this because it's gonna kind of help me bridge the color of my eye to the color of the lip. So for someone who has a fair to light skin, I really like shades like this. So it's a little pinky, little peachy, nothing bright. It's very much kind of like a sheer, rosy kind of pink. If you are more light medium to tan, I like shades kind of like this. So a little bit richer, a little bit more pigment, still has a little bit more of that golden pink kind of undertone to it. And it's just gonna kind of show up as more of a natural blush because you want more of a natural pinky blush. Dark to deep skin tones, I really like shades like this. So it's almost like a bright fuchsia. It's gonna really kind of give that look of a freshly kind of pinched cheek. I like to use creams for this because I can really manipulate a cream blush to look more like your skin. And you can use a cream blush, you can use a lipstick. You can also do it with a powder. The application is gonna stay the same if you are using a powder, but with the powder, before you go on top of your base, make sure you lightly apply a layer of powder so the blush doesn't stick anywhere you don't want it to. Smile, find where the fatty bit of my cheek is, and then I'm gonna kind of start tapping there in circles, working my way back. First layer needs to be very, very sheer, almost unnoticeable to the eye. You want to build it up because this is very much a naturally kind of pinky look, so it doesn't compete too much with the eye and the lip when we get it on. So now we're going to move on with highlight, and your highlight can be anything that you want it to be. And I'm going to tap it right over the high point of my cheek, so right above where I placed my blush tone, and then I'm just going to blend that in. And if it overlaps my blush, that is perfect. I'm gonna take a little bit more of my blush and I'm gonna mix that with the highlight to get a little bit more of a mid-tone color. And we are gonna apply more to build intensity in the cheek. You might need to apply the blush in a few layers because the blush needs to be slightly brighter than you would want it in your day-to-day life because you need a little bit more brightness in the color so people in the audience can see the makeup clearly. Have the blush on to a level that you're happy with, we are going to apply the lip. Now for the lips, we want a lined glossy lip, and you can either do a coral or a natural lip liner color paired with a coral or clear gloss. So I'm going to show you two different options and you can choose which one you prefer. Once you have your coral lip liner on, I suggest filling in the lips, that way you don't have a coral line around your mouth. And just to create a little bit of color harmony between our eyes, cheeks, and lips, I'm gonna take a little bit of that cream blush I used, pick up a little bit with my finger and tap it over the lip liner just to kind of create a little bit more of a harmony. So you've definitely got a coral lip, but the color is now more in tune with the color of our cheeks. And the rule of thumb is the intensity of your lip liner should be the same intensity as your blush color. So that way you're getting that nice kind of in-between tone. Once you kind of have that color on, take a little bit of a clear gloss and apply it on top. Option number one, you've got your smoky eye with your blush and your corally lip. So this way your blush and your lip are in harmony. I'm gonna remove this. I'll be right back to show you lip option number two. So for lip option number two, you can do more of a natural lip color. So a lip liner that is closer to the color of your lips. Line them, softly fill it in with the liner, and then apply a peachy coral gloss on top. Use a little bit of your blush color and just take a tiny bit, pat it over your liner. Take more of a peachy coral gloss, go on top. I wanna add a little bit more saturation to the cheek. So we are gonna add a little bit more of the blush and start with on the front of the cheek. So just add a little bit, work your way back. Both sides have blush, but now the side with that layer we put on, it just kind of creates more of a harmony between the colors that we have going on. To finish our look off, we are gonna add a few lashes to our lower lash line. Take the back of your little tray that your lashes came in and squeeze a generous amount of glue. And you want that to set for about 15 to 30 seconds to become slightly tacky, so the lashes are easier to apply. You can work with individuals or a strip lash. And if you're working with a strip lash, I recommend something that is more wispy with a thin band, because we are gonna cut that band to make our own individuals. I'm gonna use a pair that look like this, and you can see that even though it's a strip, there's little kind of knots, and these wider knots for me are a little bit easier to apply. And that's because sometimes with individuals, there isn't much of a knot or base. So if you're like me, you have very fine eyelashes, it can be hard to get that false lash on the bottom. So I'm gonna cut a strip, and then we can use those kind of clippings to make our individuals to stick on. I ended up taking that lash and I cut one band in half, and then I cut the half into quarters. So that way I have sections that are small enough to give me the effect, but they have a slightly wider base that's to make it easier to apply. So now I'm working with smaller sections that look like this. Hold the lash gently towards the bottom, and where the spine is from the strip lash, you are going to get a little bit of glue on it. And you can work with fingers or tweezers. I'm gonna work with my fingers because it's a little bit easier for me, but I like to use my handheld mirror, look down, and just set that lash onto my lower lash, and then angle down so I get that kind of wide-eyed dolly effect. I'm gonna finish off this side and I will be right back. I've got the lashes on one side, so you can see they're broken down into small little sections. So with the glue, it goes clear as it dries. So you can see this one is still drying. So I'm gonna finish off this side and we'll be right back to show the finished look. Okay, and once our lower lashes are on, we are gonna apply a little bit of a powder. And for our powder, you are just gonna apply places where you don't want there to be shine. So now that we've completed our look, please note for all of our models that are following this video, if you get to any point of the look that you're just struggling with, don't worry, do everything you can with the look to the best of your ability, because you know, applying lashes, getting vibrant colors, it's not the easiest thing to do. Do everything you can to the best of your ability, and there will be an artist on set to perfect the look before you head out onto the runway. And don't forget to bring your touch-up products, your gloss, your face powder, and a brush. You need those so you can touch up your lips so they're nice and glossy before you hit the runway, and a powder is just gonna help knock back any unwanted shine. Huge thank you again to Madeline Nelson, as well as our makeup director, Rachel Jones at Be Pretty MUA, for allowing me to show you how to get this look for the show. And I hope it was fun for all of our models at home and everyone watching. Don't forget to check out the Madeline Nelson show, which is taking place on June 13th, and you can find it on Fashion Art Toronto's website. So I will see you all then. Bye.